Heaven, we're simply in heaven.
Delicious.
Alright, tonight we are making a quick venison meatloaf to keep us going throughout the week. We got a bunch of cubed venison here, and I'll just show you how I pack up my venison. I trim it all up before freezing, so that way it's just ready to go. I take out the pack, I'm ready to use it. So that's the way I like to do it. It makes life much easier, I think. I'm going to add a little bit of smoked bacon to this venison, just a little bit, because I have a little bit of high cholesterol. But I think we'll make up for that because my kids in the back here are making some fresh donuts.
Hey.
So, you know, I'll get all the cholesterol I need from the donuts. But you could feel free to add as much smoked bacon as you want, but the smoked bacon really goes nicely also with burgers. Works out great. So then in the back here, I cooked up some, let's see, a big onion, 2 bell peppers, a bunch of sage, garlic, carrots, and parsnips. Parsnips add a nice sweet flavor, so it's a nice addition to these sorts of dishes. You should try it out. So what I like to do is spice up the venison before I put it in my grinder. I got a like a 3/4 horsepower grinder here, and this thing is great. I highly recommend it. 3/4, I mean, is plenty. I do 4 or 5 deer a year, and it's no trouble at all. So, so I'm gonna spice up the venison. Add a little bit of marinara sauce, maybe like a half a cup to a cup of marinara sauce in here. A bunch of eggs, probably about 6 eggs I'll add to this. I'm gonna throw some greens right in there. I have just some basil and scallions. I'm gonna throw it right in the venison and let it grind right in there. So I'll add that, the bacon, and then this veggie mix I'm gonna incorporate afterwards. So let me get cracking some eggs. All right, so Heather's gonna help me just mix in some eggs. Go ahead, Heather.
Hey.
Pour it right in there, beautiful. Got 6 eggs, that looks about right. You need something to just bind the meat together because venison obviously doesn't have a lot of fat in it. So eggs help out with that. Go ahead, Heather, pour in the greens. Right on in there, perfect, beautiful. And like I said, we're gonna dice that up right in there. I'm gonna get some spices together next, and again, I like grinding all the spices and stuff right in there while I grind it. It just helps mix it up because I don't like to play with the meat too much after it's ground. It gets a little too dense otherwise. So I'll get out some spices and let's keep going. All right, for spices, I'm gonna just throw in some dried parsley. Fresh parsley works fine too. I have this organic, no salt seasoning stuff. I'm gonna use a bunch of this. It adds, you know, just a bunch of flavor without the salt. I like it. And of course, you know, I'm gonna add my Chinese 5 spice. So that's my secret. I love using on most recipes. So a little taste of that as well. Okay, got the grinder loaded up with my cubed meat with the spices and eggs and the bacon all ready to go. I'm gonna grind this up and then move on to the next step. This is the fun part. Woo! I'm using a pretty coarse grinding plate on here. The meat I'm using is really good quality meat. A lot of it is hindquarter steaks, so don't really need to process it too fine. And a little coarseness will add a little texture, which I like. Okay, I got the meat all ground up. I'm gonna add in my veggie mix here. This smells incredible. And this is gonna add nice texture, flavor. I want to get every last bit of this. So you have to add some either bread, or some people use some oatmeal to this. I'm going to use a mixture of both. I have some panko breadcrumbs, and you really have to kind of get a feel for this, and it's kind of like making dough, that you don't want it too dry, you don't want it too wet, just want a nice texture, even texture throughout, and just enough to help bind everything together and add a little bit of texture. So let's go ahead and add some breadcrumbs, and I'm going to take a guess, something like that, and I'll add a little bit of oats to it as well. Something like that. I'll give that a mix. That should be fine, and I think we're good to go. Let's throw it in a pan and get cooking. I'm used to just cooking for a lot of people, and I just realized I made enough meatloaf for an army here, so everyone's invited over for dinner. Come on over. Tomorrow night, I'll see you here. No, actually, sorry. Our house won't hold you, but we are going to eat this all through the week for good lunches and dinners, and man, I'm psyched to eat it. So, do have to cook it first. I don't like to put anything on my meatloaf initially when I first put it in the oven, because I like to get it brown on the top. I think it adds a lot of flavor if you can brown the meat up first. So I'll put the oven on pretty high, about 450, to get this going. Let it start cooking, and then I'll turn it down a ways halfway through. But get a nice brown caramelization thing going on the top, and then maybe in the end we'll brush on some tomato sauce and roll like that. Looks great, man. You can see all the different colors in there from the let's go up. Woo! From the all the different flavorings and veggies that are in there. I think it's going to be awesome. Let's get it in the oven. You know, I only have like 60 subs, so we might all be able to fit in the house. So come on over. Come on. See you in a bit. Okay, while that's cooking in the oven, it's time to fry up some donuts. Woo! You know, I just can't seem to figure out why my cholesterol has been slightly high lately. I think maybe I just have to eat more vegetables or something. That must be it. What do you girls think?
Looks good. Mm-hmm.
Heaven, we're simply in heaven.
Delicious.
Okay, it's been about 45 minutes on 450. Let's take a little peek. Wow. That looks amazing. Oh, it's getting there. We got to go till it's about 160 degrees minimum, just for safety, and I think I'll lower the oven to 400 now and let it finish out that way. Good stuff. Wow, it really smells amazing. Oh my goodness. Come here, baby. Oh yeah. Look at that. Wow, I gotta show you a close-up of this. Oh yeah, look at that. Beautiful. See, I didn't bother putting anything on the top of it, and I think that was the way to go, because it just looks so flavorful just as it is. There's no need. If you really want to put something on top, go for it, but when meatloaf is done right, that's the way it should look. Let's check it out. Okay, here's the money shot. Let's check it out. Wow. Woo! It's good. It is good. You guys should definitely try this. Make some at home. It's pretty easy. It'll feed an army, so you can't go wrong with that. And man, all you need now is a cold beer, a glass of wine, and you're set. Honey, bring me a beer! Just kidding.
Coming!
Just kidding. Check out Vital Point for more hunting recipes and fun stuff.